Hello, dear viewers. Welcome back to our Mahabharata series. Today, we dive into the timeless tale of Dushyanta and Shakuntala, a love story so captivating that even the great poet Kalidasa adapted it into the famous play Abhijnanasakuntalam. While Kalidasa took creative liberties to enhance the drama, our focus today is on the original version from the Mahabharata, which beautifully portrays the romantic bond between a powerful king and a vulnerable young woman. Let's get started with this episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to our channel and support us. This will help us bring more fascinating content from the treasure trove of Indian epics to you. Responding to King Janmejaya's request to learn about the origins of Bharata, sage Vaishampayana begins with the story of King Dushyanta. Dushyanta was no ordinary king. His strength was legendary. He was capable of defeating armies single-handedly. He could uproot massive trees and wrestle wild animals like tigers and lions with his bare hands. One day, during a hunting expedition, he ventured deep into a dense forest, moving so swiftly that his soldiers struggled to keep up. As he pressed on, he noticed an ashram nestled in the distance. Guessing it was the ashram of the revered sage Kanwa, he instructed his soldiers to wait there and approach the ashram alone, eager to meet the sage Kanwa. As Dushyanta entered the ashram grounds, he was greeted by the soothing sound of Vedic chants. Brahmins were engaged in rituals, their recitations harmonizing with the serene atmosphere. Dushyanta made his way to the sage's hut, hoping to seek his blessings. But instead of Kanwa, a strikingly beautiful young woman emerged. Her presence captivated Dushyanta, and the feeling was mutual. The young woman couldn't take her eyes off the handsome king. Breaking the silence, Dushyanta inquired about sage Kanwa. The young woman introduced herself as Shakuntala, the daughter of the sage, and explained that Kanwa had gone into the woods to gather fruits and flowers. Seeing an opportunity to spend more time with the king, Shakuntala invited him to wait in the humble hut. However, Dushyanta, curious about her lineage, questioned how she could be the daughter of a celibate sage. Eager to prove her worthiness, Shakuntala recounted the story of her birth, a tale she had overheard Kanwa narrating to another sage years before. Before Vishwamitra became a Brahma Rishi, he was a Raja Rishi, a king who had turned a sage. As Vishwamitra performed severe penance, gaining immense spiritual power, Lord Indra grew fearful that the sage might usurp his position as the king of the gods. To protect his throne, Indra devised a plan and summoned the celestial nymph Menaka. He instructed her to distract Vishwamitra with her beauty. Though Menaka feared Vishwamitra's wrath, known for his temper and quickness to curse, she cautiously approached him, pretending the encounter was by chance. Indra created a romantic atmosphere around them, and Vishwamitra, enchanted by Menaka, abandoned his penance and spent years with her. Eventually, Menaka bore a beautiful baby girl. But when Vishwamitra realized he had strayed from his spiritual path, he sent Menaka away, determined to continue his ascetic journey. To avoid being tied down by fatherhood, he entrusted the care of the baby to the forest's peacocks, and then he left. It was Sage Kanwa who found the baby girl and decided to raise her. Since the peacocks, or Shakuntas, had protected her, he named her Shakuntala. Dushyanta, relieved to learn of Shakuntala's royal lineage, realized he could marry her according to tradition. He proposed to her, and Shakuntala, already smitten, readily agreed. But she had one request, that their son be named Dushyanta's successor. The king, eager to marry her, agreed without hesitation. They were wed immediately in the Gandharva style, a marriage that required no rituals or witnesses. They spent intimate time together in the ashram. But with Kanwa still away, Dushyanta told Shakuntala that he must return to his kingdom, promising to send his ministers to formally bring her to the palace as his queen. Time passed, and Sage Kanwa returned to the ashram. Shakuntala was filled with anxiety, worried about how to tell him about her marriage in his absence. Yet, the sage, with his profound wisdom, already knew what had transpired. He blessed Shakuntala, pleased that she had married such a worthy man, and prophesied that her son would soon grow into a wise, strong, and beloved king. Days turned into years, but Dushyanta did not return. Shakuntala bore a son, a handsome and strong boy who, by the age of 6, could tame wild animals like elephants, lions, and tigers. He would often tie these animals to the trees around the ashram. Though Shakuntala was proud of her son, she couldn't ignore the void left by his father's absence. Seeing her distress, Sage Kanwa advised her to take the boy to Dushyanta's kingdom. With a few sages from the ashram accompanying her, Shakuntala set out for the palace. When she arrived, she stood before Dushyanta in his royal court. But to her shock, he looked at her as if she were a stranger. Fearful of humiliation, Shakuntala hesitated, then reminded the king of his promise to crown their son as their heir. The court fell silent, stunned by her words, but Dushyanta, in a calm voice, denied knowing her or their child. Shakuntala felt her world collapse. The man who had once loved her deeply now treated her with cold indifference. Gathering all her strength, her voice trembling with emotion, she began to speak. A true wife is skilled in managing the household, devoted to her husband, and knows no one else but him. She is his other half, his first friend, and the foundation of his life. Religion, prosperity, and salvation all stem from her. A man with a wife can find joy, perform his duties, and achieve good fortune. In happiness, she is a friend. In duty, a father. In sorrow, a mother. Even in the wilderness, a wife is a man's solace. She is his most precious possession. Then why are you refusing to recognize me, your wife? Pointing to her son, she continued, a father sees a part of himself reborn in his son, and the joy of looking into his child's face is like gazing into a reflection of his own soul. What could be more fulfilling than a child running into his father's arms? If even the smallest creatures like ants protect their young, how much more should a father cherish his child? the touch of a child brings a comfort like no other. "Oh king," she pleaded, "as your wife, I carried this child in my womb, and he is destined to dispel all your sorrows. A voice from the heavens foretold that this son of yours will achieve greatness and perform 100 Ashwamedha yajnas. Even those far from home find happiness in holding another's child. How much more should you treasure your own, especially when he is destined for such greatness?" Dushyanta, visibly restless, still showed no sign of relenting. Desperate to reach his heart, Shakuntala continued, "O king, digging a well is a noble act, but creating an accessible water tank is equal to digging 100 wells. Performing a sacrificial ritual is greater than building 100 tanks. Yet, bringing a son into this world is worth more than 100 such rituals. But truth stands taller still, more valuable than 100 suns. Once, the weight of 100 Ashwamedha yajnas was compared to the weight of a single truth, and truth tipped the scales. O king, truth is as potent as studying the entire Vedas and performing rituals at every holy site. There is no virtue greater than truth. Truth is divine. It is the highest vow. So, own your truth, honor your promise, welcome us into your life, and crown our son as your heir." She finally declared with a resolve, "If you doubt my words, I will leave on my own. But know this, when you are gone, this son of mine will rule the earth, from the seas to the mountains. Wouldn't it be better for you to crown him with your own hands?" Her heartfelt plea resonated with the courtiers. But Dushyanta remained unmoved. Feeling utterly defeated, Shakuntala lamented her fate. Abandoned at birth by her mother, left by her father to be raised by birds, and now forsaken by the man she loved and trusted most. As she prepared to leave the court, heartbroken and humiliated, a celestial voice rang out from the skies. The voice declared that everything Shakuntala had said was true, that Dushyanta was indeed her husband, and the radiant boy by her side was his son. Hearing this, Dusyanta's demeanor changed. He acknowledged Shakuntala as his wife and recognized the boy as his son, explaining that he had only been harsh to ensure the truth was revealed by a divine authority. He wanted the kingdom to know of Shakuntala's purity, the sincerity of their love, and the legitimacy of their son as his successor. Embracing his son with all the affection he had withheld, Dushyanta crowned him prince and gave him the name Bharata. Sage Vaishampayana concluded the story by telling Janamejaya that Bharata grew up to be a wise, just, and beloved king. So much so that his dynasty came to be known as the Bharata dynasty. It remained so until one of his descendants, Kuru, achieved such fame that the lineage was renamed after him as the Kuru dynasty. Thus, the birth of Bharata marked the beginning of a mighty dynasty and the land itself, all rooted in this divine love story. Stay tuned for the next episode as we explore the origins of King Shantanu, a descendant of the Kuru dynasty, and we will witness the birth of one of the Mahabharata's most revered characters, Bhishma. Until then, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to Katha Yogam for more epic tales from the Mahabharata.